and welcome to Kajea's channel. As a virtual bookkeeper, I had the opportunity to learn a lot. So yung journey ko as a virtual bookkeeper is interesting and syempre at the same time challenging. I've learned a lot of lessons along the way and sa video na to, i-share ko ano-ano pa yung mga lessons na na-learn ni Kajea bilang isang virtual bookkeeper. So, kung interested ka sa topic na yan, please keep on watching until the end. Do not skip para wala kang mamiss na tips and tricks na i-share ko throughout the video. So, without further ado, let's get started! Kung bago ka lang sa channel na to, I'm Kajea, virtual assistant, executive assistant, bookkeeper, accountant. So, kahit anong work, pinapasok ko, basta't online. Kasi online work is amazing! Sa channel na to, dinidiscuss natin more on online work, tips and tricks, and mga success stories. So, kung interested ka sa mga topic na yon, please consider subscribing and don't forget to hit the notification bell para wala kang ma-miss na video na ina-upload ni Kajea every single week. So, marami na siguro sa inyo nakakaalam na si Kajea nag-start ng kanyang virtual career noong 2018. And simula nung nag-start ako, sobrang dami kong lesson na natutunan as I go along this journey. Okay? So, yung i-share kong mga lesson na na-learn ko sa journey ko is very helpful sa inyong mga aspiring virtualero or mga bookkeeper kasi itong mga lesson na to ay essential kapag mag-handle tayo ng clients or mag-onboard tayo ng mga clients, okay? So, number one, since tayo ay mga freelance bookkeeper or freelance virtual assistant, marami tayong clients na makakasalamuha or marami tayong clients na kailangan i-onboard. So, number one lesson na na-learn ni Kajea is as a virtual bookkeeper, you need to learn how to prioritize. So, you need to prioritize yung mga tasks na gagawin mo, yung mga clients na i-onboard mo. Sa isang araw, since we are a freelancer, marami tayong clients. And bawat clients may kanya-kanyang task. And bawat task mayroong kanya-kanyang deadline. If we don't know how to prioritize tasks, it will be hard for us as a bookkeeper para matapos yung mga trabaho natin on a certain day. Okay? Especially kapag month-end or closing ng books. Okay? So, kailangan, as a bookkeeper, marunong tayong mag-prioritize ng mga tasks natin and clients natin. As a freelance bookkeeper, I have learned to prioritize yung mga tasks na pinaka-importante. So, yun yung una kong ginagawa. So, the most important tasks are taken care of syempre, una, and then, tsaka ko nagagawin yung mga ibang task na hindi naman ganon ka-urgent or kailangan. Okay? Kasi sa bookkeeping, merong mga task na kailangan everyday mo ginagawa. May mga task naman na pwede mong gawin once a week or once a month. So, kailangan lang talaga natin i-analyze sa isang bookkeeping client, alin ba ang kailangan gagawin ko, alin ba ang kailangan ni client ng ganitong araw para ma-prioritize mo siya. If you are an organized person, di syempre, i-ensure mo na lahat ng task na kailangan mong gawin ay nagagawa in a timely manner. So, lagi niyong tatandaan, as a virtual bookkeeper, you need to learn how to prioritize your tasks. Another lesson na na-learn ko is, as a virtual bookkeeper, you have to be adaptable. You have to adapt sa lahat ng changes na nangyayari sa online work, sa industry na client mo. So, karamihan, since online tayo, maraming changes sa software, may mga new features na kailangan mong aralin, or may mga bagong software na kailangan mong aralin din para, of course, maging updated ka sa lahat ng mga software na available online. So, pagdating naman sa mga taxes, kailangan aware ka rin sa mga regulations, sa lahat ng pabago-bagong tax rate sa iba't ibang company, sa iba't ibang country, and sa iba't ibang industry. Kasi pag pinag-usapan natin yung technology kasi nag-change yan rapidly. And may mga software na dumarating, may mga software na nawawala na lang. For example, hindi naman natin alam hanggang kailan si zero sa industry, di ba? Hindi natin alam hanggang kailan siya magagamit, or syempre may mga cases na magpapalit ng owner, o kaya naman may bagong ilo-launch na product, tapos tatanggalin na si zero, eto naman ang panibago. So as long as adaptable tayo sa lahat ng changes na nangyayari sa online work, hindi tayo mahihirapan. So kasi nung nag-start si Kaji, Excel lang kami. And then dumating si zero. Tapos nung meron na kaming zero, bigla namang inintroduce si QuickBooks. So ngayon, kailangan from Excel, dapat mag-adapt ako sa zero. So kailangan aralin ko si zero, paano ba siya nagwo-works, paano ba ako mag-export ng report, how I'm going to do this. And then mamaya, tapos ka na sa zero, may bago na naman, si Dex naman, si HubDoc naman, si A2X, ang daming software available online. So you have to make sure na talagang adaptable ka sa lahat ng technology changes na mangyayari sa mga darating araw. So another lesson na na-learn ko as a virtual bookkeeper ay there are new skills to learn and there are skills na kailangan mo namang i-refine. So kung ano yung skills na meron tayo, hindi lang dapat hanggang dyan tayo, okay? So si Kaji, may skill siya sa bookkeeping, may skill siya sa Excel, sa Google Sheet, etc. Pero hanggang doon na lang ba? So hindi ganon. Kapag ikaw ay nasa freelance bookkeeping career, you have to make sure na you are investing yourself in any learning resources. Mapa-YouTube man yan, mapa-ebook man yan, online course ba yan, mga free seminar or webinar ba yan, you have to invest yourself. You have to invest your time. Sometimes you need to invest money. Pero hindi naman kailangan every time na mag-invest ka, money ang ibabayad mo. Hindi. Kasi katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, may mga free resources online, may mga free webinar online or master classes available online. And of course, there are also courses na free online na pwede mong i-grab. Okay? So you have to invest sa iyong skills. You have to invest in new skills and refine your existing skills. And if you are investing sa inyong learning, if you are investing para matuto, you are giving yourself a chance na mas umangat kung i-compare mo sa ibang bookkeeper. Why? Since you are investing sa new skills mo, then of course, maging up-to-date ka sa lahat ng technology, sa lahat ng changes na nangyayari sa online world. So, syempre, kapag may new client, sino ba ang kukunin ng client? Yung updated ba or yung hindi updated? So, syempre, mas malaki pa rin yung chance mo to get new clients if you are up to date with everything. Another lesson na na-learn ko is you have to be organized. Why? Organization is the key. Lagi, okay? So, bakit kailangan organized ba? Ano yung lesson na na-learn mo doon, Kaji? So, if you don't know how to organize your client's file, everything will be messy. So, pwede mo ma-mix yung mga files ng client mo if you don't know how to organize their files. If you are handling more clients, let's say 20 clients, how are you going to organize or how are you going to prepare the reports if ikaw as a virtual bookkeeper don't know how to organize yung kanilang file? So, pwedeng ang magawa mo, yung bank ni client 1, marirecord mo sa 0 ni client 2 or vice versa. So, mahirap mag-handle ng maraming client. So, kailangan maging organized ka as a virtual bookkeeper. Isa sa ginawa ko is para maging organized ako as a virtual bookkeeper. Meron akong mga to-do list sa bawat clients ko. And I make sure na yung mga tasks na related sa isang clients ay nagagawa ko on a regular basis. And then, basta lahat ng tasks per client ginagawa ko. Mapa-recording man yan, reconciliation, mapa-review, mapa-restrict, and so on. So, actually, meron tayong tinatawag na 5R sa bookkeeping. So, kung hindi pa kayo familiar sa 5R na yon, just let me know and Kaji will create a video for you. And I will explain kung gaano ka-importante yung 5R na yon sa pagbo-bookkeeping natin as a bookkeeper. Another lesson na na-learn ko sa freelance career ko is kailangan hindi tayo afraid to ask questions. Why? Of Of course, wala namang perfect na virtual assistant or virtual bookkeeper or freelance bookkeeper. Kasi, kahit anong industry, kahit anong client mo, for sure, lagi kang merong question. Kasi hindi naman lahat ng transactions sa bank nila ay ma-identify mo kung ano ang nature. Kung ito ba ay bills, o ito ba ay expenses, or ito ba ay income. So, there will be instances na kahit anong research ang gawin mo, or kahit anong notes ang gawin mo during the meeting, there are transactions sa bank ng client mo na you will never know how to categorize. So, the best way to answer or to categorize that transaction is to ask your clients a question. Asking question will show your clients that you really have care sa business nila and you want to make it right. It doesn't show naman na you're asking question because you don't know it. You are asking question just to confirm if maybe yung understanding mo ba is right or wrong, or kaya naman you just need to clarify something. Okay? So don't be afraid to ask question kasi hindi siya weakness. Strength mo yan if you are asking question. Kapag hindi ka nag-ask ng question, syempre, bongga ka, char. Ganito yan. There are cases naman na, of course, pwede ka nang hindi mag-ask ng question. Number 1, sinandan ka ng client mo na bank statement with all the details na nakanote na doon. Okay, let's say, January 1, 2023. Itong transaction na to ay para sa invoice number ganito. Invoice number ganito ay naka-save sa ganitong folder. So ngayon, okay, alam mo na, very detalyado si client, so you don't have any question. Kung gawin niya yun sa isang buong buwan, so sobrang organized din ni client. So it will be easier for you na to reconcile yung mga transaction. Paano? Kung ang nasa bank lang ni client mo, deposit, withdrawal, how are you going to know kung ano yung invoice na related sa deposit na yon? Malay mo pala kung yung deposit na yun para sa 10 invoices. So, di ba? Hindi natin malalaman unless magtatanong tayo. So, always remember, you have to ask question. Kahit nga lang sa interview During the interview phase, so for example, nag-send ka ng application, you are invited for an interview, and during the interview, at the end of the interview, yung prospect client mo, nagtanong, do you have any question? So, anong sasabihin mo? No, I don't have any question. So, for you to make a good impression sa prospect clients mo, why don't you try to ask question na related sa bookkeeping? Yes, maybe wala ka pang question about sa sinabi niya, but pwede ka magtanong ng mga question na related naman sa industry niya or sa books niya, like how many bank accounts do you have? How many VA do you have? What are the common expenses na pwede kong makita sa bank mo? Asking question will really show yung client mo na you are really interested doon sa job post. Okay? So, don't forget to ask question kasi sobrang helpful niya kapag during the interview and of course yung actual na rin. Okay? So guys, yun yung mga lesson na na-learn ni Kajea sa kanyang virtual career. And I hope sana may natutunan kayo sa mga lesson na na-learn ko. And if you have any questions about sa topic na yon, just let me know sa comment section. Or if you want new topic na gusto mong gawa ni Kajea ng video, just let me know kasi sa comment section na kumukuha si Kajea ng mga topics para sa mga future videos ko. So, that's all for today. And I'll see you on my next video. Bye!